Why a Squeezeback? Well, the answer is simple. Number one, it doesn't take any more of your time. You can imagine if you have an advert, it's going to take you around 30 more seconds, but a Squeezeback, you can just insert it when you're playing your video. It won't take you much time, and number two, it is easy and inexpensive to create. Welcome to Tutorials by KASANGA. My name is KASANGA, and in this masterclass we are going to see how you can make Squeezebacks on several applications, and number two, how you can apply these Squeezebacks on editing softwares and on live softwares. Remember, you can support this channel by subscribing, sharing it with your friends, and you can also support financially using our paybill number 714888 and our account number 123640. So the paybill number is 714888 and the account number is 123640. Let's get started. So we're going to create a canvas size full HD 1080 by 1920, and then I'm going to create a rectangle over it so that it's easier when I apply the video, so that it fits perfectly. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to reduce its size while touching it to the right corner. I'm going to import my elements, select the elements that I need, drag and drop them on my Photoshop. This is the logo that I'll be using, so I'm going to resize it to a size that I feel is functional for me. Now this is a QR code that I created that leads directly to the YouTube channel that I want people to subscribe to, so I'm also going to resize it, place it at the bottom right. These are YouTube icons, like, share, subscribe, comment, I'm going to place them there, and this is the standard YouTube logo. I'm going to place it there as well. Resize it. Now what I'll be doing from now on is just playing around with the size until I see that they fit very well. It has to balance. That is the whole essence of graphic design. So I'll have to reduce the size and make things big. So I'm going now to have the text tool. I'm going to type Tutorials by KASANGA, that is the name of the YouTube channel, at Tutorials by KASANGA. Then I'm going to match the color of the text to the color of the logo so that it's easier for me to see the text as I write it. Yes, Tutorials by KASANGA. Okay, reduce the size. It's still big, so I'm going to work on the size a bit, and then I'm going to center line it with the logo. Let me just change the font. Yeah, that looks a little bit what I like. I'm going to move it to the side. Plus, what also I want to do is to make sure that everything is within the title safe. Even though most of this content is going to be consumed digitally, there's those rules that you have to stick with. Now, this QR code, I want to have it enveloped in a black background so that it pops, it stands out. And then I'm also want to do the text that kind of peeps out. So I'm going to create a box, and then I'm also going to have text on that box. Yeah, this one looks a little bit big, so let me just have it pop out a bit to the text tool. and then scan me. Since the QR code was already in white, so I need to change this text. Turquoise is a good color, but it wouldn't blend well. I'll just resize it a bit. Let me change the color. I'm gonna pick white. White will work best with it. And another practice that you'll find useful is you group your elements, like the QR code. Every element that goes for the QR code, I group it so that it's even easier when I come to edit way later on. If you don't group, you end up with a lot of elements, but when you group, you reduce the number of elements. And also when you group, you can transform the whole group if you select it as a folder. Okay, so let me just see how the icons balance at the bottom. I think I'm going somewhere. Okay, so the text, I think still it's big. Yeah, I think just a slight reduction. That works. Now, what about the background? Let me just see if I can do something about the background. A gradient works well. So red now, so let me just change from red. Let me use the turquoise. It's a good color, but the turquoise on the logo is not doing what I want it to do. So I'm just gonna stretch the white part. Then I'm going to go to the rotation to the rotation section until the logo falls on white. Let me adjust the white. I think we're getting there. That is wonderful. As you can see now, the scan part looks very well. It stands out, and also the logo stands out. Let me group some things so that I can make it a little bit decent. I want to cast a shadow on the logo. I don't want it to be outstanding. I just want it to be, you know those kind of details. When you look at it, you're like, oh, there's a shadow. That's what I'm going for. So I don't want anything that stands out. I just want it to be sort of an aspect that is demeaned a bit. So let me just work on the shadow. Okay, so some slight adjustments to make sure it comes out the way we want it to. Yeah, I think that works out well. And as you can see, there's a shadow, and this is what I'm going for. It's a beautiful one. It gives it a small aspect of a 3D. Yeah, this is wonderful. Remember, most of these things you you might have an idea, but you just play around with the settings until you get something that speaks to you, something that pops up in a way that you'd love it to do. So remember, I've applied it on the text and on the logo. So I want to give the main background a rough texture. So I'm going to experiment on several things, but also as I give it a rough texture, I just want the texture not to dominate, because the idea of a squeezeback is that you have all the information that you need, but the information should not be too much, so that even the person looking at the squeezeback is confused on what is what. You can have more decorations, but they should not take center stage. So I think this one works to that degree. I think I'm okay with that. So thank you for staying with me up to the end of this first one. Now this is the normal squeezeback. I want us to see how we can do there's another type of squeezeback that pops up from the bottom. It is mostly used on TV stations. This kind of squeezeback that we just worked on, we have it online, but the one that we're going to do right now is for TV stations. So I'm going to group this initial one into a folder, then I duplicate this part. Okay, not like that. Let me just hold the shift button so that I make it like a bottom ticker. Yeah, good. Now the QR code, I'm also going to reduce it as a group, and also want it to be above the squeezeback graphic, slightly above, so that it also interacts with the video that is airing. This is just a personal preference. You might have another preference, but this is what as KASANGA I prefer. I also work on the icons. And then the logo. I reduced the logo slightly. As you can see, up to that point we lack an aspect of balance. There seems to be one side that's a bit crowded and another side that is all crowded, but I'm going to sort that one out. What I'm trying to do is to make sure that the height of the logo corresponds to the height of the QR code. Then I switch off anything that I don't need. Let me just get a bigger canvas size to work on. This needs to move a bit to the side. Some balancing. Still a bit crowded, so I need to group them, move them a bit to the center, so that there's an aspect of balancing. Remember, the subconscious will tell you that there's something wrong if it's not properly balanced. If our logo interacts with the video as it is, okay, let me just adjust the QR code first. So I want the scan me text to move a little bit so that it's like on a similar plane with the other items. I think that works well. Now for my logo, if it starts to interact with other materials and you see it has some transparent area, it might be to a disadvantage. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to draw a circle, a black circle behind the logo. Remember, black and turquoise, they work well. For me, I see that black makes turquoise stand out. So boom, that's our other squeezeback. Yeah, and it works well. So now we are going to see how we can develop it on Premiere Pro. So I'm going to import, first of all, let me just work on the workspace, then I import the materials. I like doing everything on a full HD canvas because at least that is what everyone gets access to. Good. Now I'm going to import the materials. Okay, let me just mark out at 30 so that at least it guides me before I import the materials. Now I've imported the materials. There's an error. Yes, what I did. Now what I've done is that the background that we created in Photoshop, I saved it as an element so that it's going to help us do the backgrounds. It's going to be a little bit easier. When you're doing it on Premiere Pro, it's always easy to employ the use of Photoshop. So I'm going to create a black video, and it comes standard with the size of the project that you're using. So this one is 1080 by 1920. I'm going to work on the size so that the rectangle moves top to the right. I prefer top to the right because people read from left to right, so that if it's the information is on the left, that is what people will see before they come to the video. The video kind of becomes secondary and the text becomes primary. So now I'm going to add the logo. Remember, we are drawing inspiration from what we did before on Photoshop. That is what we are going to carry now as we design it on Premiere Pro. I'm also going to include the text. Tutorials by KASANGA. I'm going to match the color, and then on this newer version of Premiere Pro, I think I'm using the 2020 version. The text is on a different place. If you're using the 2015 version, its text is also edited on a separate place vis-a-vis what we have here. So because okay, let me do a bit of that. Remember, for this masterclass we are doing a static squeezeback. we already did motion squeeze backs. You can go out and check on previous tutorials using After Effects and using Premiere Pro, but for this one we are focusing on static squeeze back, because you can also do static squeeze backs on Premiere Pro, as you can see we're doing right now. So I need to make those icons be of a suitable layer. The QR code. So I think I'm going to I need to place the QR code a bit higher so that I can have the black video under the QR code. I need to get let me pick it a bit higher again. You'll see the reasons why. So you just work on the size of the QR code and position it. Then I crop the black video so that the black video gives prominence to the QR code, makes the QR code stand out. I have to move the video a bit so that I can position the QR code. Now once that is done, I mute the black video, get a crop effect. Come to my effect tabs and work on the crop. It will take some time before I get it right. If I was to be on After Effects, I would have drawn it, but on Premiere Pro you import the whole video and then you crop it. Okay, now position it a bit at the center for purposes of balancing. Then I also import another black video. Some cropping. Back to effect controls. Now this is for the scan me text. I think up to that place will be good. Some for the bottom, some for the top, and for that other side. Scan me, then I change it to white. As I said before, in this version of Premiere Pro, you adjust it there. In the previous versions you had to come to the bin where your items are and change the color, the font, the size from there. So I position it. I think that works well. Okay, let me see how everything looks like. Yeah. Let me just minor adjustments. Yeah, I was looking for that. Yeah, this is what I want. A bit of an adjustment. Yeah, and I believe this is a perfect example of how to do squeezeback, static squeezeback on Premiere Pro. On the next video, we're going to do the other one. So we're still on Premiere Pro. So I'll start with the background. Yeah, let me mark that in. So I'm going to get the crop effect and crop the top until to a height where I feel it workable. Then I get the QR code. I'm going to leave a space under it because I also need to do what we did with the black video. Positioning the QR code, the scale and position. At this moment you just try. Now with the black video I need to crop it. Okay, it's presenting some difficulties. I believe also since the main background is black as well. Let me just work on the bottom part first and the sides, then I'll work on the top later. Then what I'll do, I think I'll select everything, move it up a bit, then select the background again, import it so that it just will guide me when I'm cropping the top part. Because I can't crop black against a black and see it well. So I move it up a bit, get the black video again. Remember, I need also to have a provision for the scan me part, and repeat the process of cropping and adjusting. Start at the bottom. So work on the sides. And top is already done. Scan me so that anyone who is watching this video can scan, and it will redirect them to the YouTube channel. make sure that I get to a point where I'm satisfied with how things look. The YouTube icons. I position them. I think that one is that looks a bit better. Now for the logo, remember I had to redo the logo to also include a black circle. If it's an alpha channel and then the behind part is not favoring the turquoise color, it's going to be difficult for people to read. And remember, the purpose of using Squeezebacks is because they're easier for people to read. Okay, I think I'm good over there, so just some minor adjustments. Then I mute that part, and yeah, that is how we do the Squeezeback. So now we are on After Effects. I've already imported the items. So I'm going to do is to do the composition. I think 30 seconds will be good. Remember, you don't also want to make it too long. Now the naming part. If you find the red error, it means that your caps lock is activated. We need to deactivate it so that you can see what's happening. So I've just imported the same elements that I imported before. For After Effects, if the length of your project is 30 seconds, whatever you import in, if it's static, it's going to be the length of your project. Now I'm going to draw the rectangle. I'm going to use a black color on it. A black color is good because whenever you see it, you know that's where the video is supposed to go to. Then I'm going to position it. Which is S. So I position it. I think that works well. So if I select an item and I press P, I'm going to have the items to adjust the position. If I press S, I'm going to have the items to adjust the scale. This comes after you've used the software for a considerable period of time. Now I will import my QR code. In the QR code area. This I'm just using the mouse and some keyboard shortcuts. I come to the rectangle area and I'm going to draw over it. Then I'll just take it back that way. Then also draw another one, take it back, so let me collapse everything so that it looks a bit decent and easy to work on. Text, scan me, change color from blue to white. I'm going to position it and play around with the scale. Let me work with that rectangle. I think that one works well. So let me see how the whole project looks like. Okay, the scan me is a bit big, the QR code, so I need to reduce the sizes. So as you can see, when I'm reducing the size, it's moving. It's because the anchor point is at the middle of the project, so anything I do to it is anchored to the middle. So I think that size is already good. I'm going to move it again, the position shortcuts. That one works well. Now for the YouTube elements, some slight positioning, the YouTube logo, now the logo, some bit of positioning, I think that works well. Now for the text, tutorials by KASANGA. Select everything on the text and then I change the color. Then I go with black and I see what it looks like. Not bad. I'm going to position it so that it center lines. Okay, let me just go back to the turquoise. Yeah, that puts it together. Some adjustments, and I think we have a Squeezeback on After Effects. Now we need to make that other Squeezeback. So what we're going to do, let me just collapse everything, and then I'm going to start a new project. Not a project, sorry. A new composition. If you don't want to go through the whole hassle, you can just duplicate your composition and edit it. But I'm going to do for me a new composition so that we can all see how it's done. So instead of cropping, I'm going to draw a rectangle while this is selected. That is just going to automatically crop it. This is After Effects. It's a bit different from Premiere Pro. Then now I import my elements. I start with the QR code, and remember I'll have to draw I think it's a square just behind the QR code. I'll have to position it, but I want it to be a bit big so that it just peeps beyond that the Squeezeback. It actually resembles a bottom ticker. So now I draw the square. I take it below the QR code. I draw another one. Well, now this other square has been attached to the previous square. So the rectangle has been attached to the previous one, and at times it's a bit difficult to work with it, so I'm going to delete it so that I do it afresh, just that part alone. I'll just work with it. Okay, let me just work with it. Now the text can be change the color to white, then a selection tool so that I can be able to drag it. Okay, caps lock was on, sorry for that. Okay, so let me see how it looks. Is it big? Okay, not really. So I think I'm going to start on the other elements. Where's the logo? Yes, there is the logo. I'm going to drop it there. Work on the scale. And the position. Sorry. Yes, we draw the circle to encapsulate it. Take it a step below. I'm going to use the arrow keys to position. Yes, I think that one has worked well. And as you can see, the anchor point is still at the center of the canvas. Since you're now moving things around, that can still stay there. Let me just reduce the size a little bit. And as you can see, even when I reduce the size, it kind of pulls towards the anchor point. Remember, this is the last creation of Squeezeback that we are doing. On the next side, we are going to look at how we can implement them, how we can use them on editing softwares and streaming softwares. So I'm going to position both of them. Actually, I've selected both of them and pressed position so that it's easier to move both of them. So there are two things left, the logo for YouTube and the icons. Just press S for scale and then just reduce them to a size that's manageable. The logo is a bit flat, so that works. The other icons have to be reduced further and positioned. So some positioning. I'll continue to just to play around with the position and the scale, but I think at this juncture we can comfortably say we have our second Squeezeback using After Effects, and that's how it looks like. So we're going to start the implementation using Premiere Pro. We are going to use the Squeezebacks that we developed on Photoshop. Let me just first of all import a video and then import the Squeezeback, the first one. Now for the first one, it always goes below the video. The second one goes over, but the first one goes below, just under the video. And then what I do, I put my cursor where I want the effects to take turn. Come and select the position and scale keyframes. Then I come to the end, I click on the keyframes so that they're locked at the beginning and at the end. So I move the cursor slightly forward, and then now I start to adjust the size of the video. I'm playing around with the scale and the position until it gets to a point where I'm comfortable with, like at that point right there. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to copy these keyframes. I'm going to copy them and I'm going to paste them just before the other keyframes for termination are. And now I'm going to put my cursor there so that I can play the video and you see how it takes effect. Now that is when the keyframe is coming in. I'm going to move the video slightly forward so that you can see how it terminates. And there it is, beautiful. So that's how we do this kind of keyframe of Squeezeback, sorry. Now for the other one, it's a bit tricky because you place your video and then you place the keyframe on top of the video. Since the keyframe now will slide in from the bottom, and then your video will have to be a bit compressed or scaled out. So you start with creating keyframes, but now on this one you're creating the keyframe on the Squeezeback image itself and also on the video. Since both of them will have to move, let us start with the Squeezeback. Sorry for that. As you can see, we've initiated one that it slides in. After it has slid in, I need to work on the main video, so give it some keyframes, and it's best if these keyframes match on the main video and the Squeezeback video. So the scale, so as you do this, you make sure that all the information that is necessary is seen. Like for example, in this video of ours, the lows have to be seen and the title of today's weather forecast has to be seen. So also duplicate it, set up at the end. So this is what's going to look like as it comes in. And this is what's going to look out as it goes. So that's how we do it on Premiere Pro. Now on its implementation of After Effects, as you can see, I've already loaded the elements and I'm downloading. I've loaded the video onto my composition. Now for the picture for the Squeezeback image, yeah, that is it. Remember, this one has to come below the video. So what I'm going to do, the point I want it to start, I'm going now to click on these items. Oh yeah, I don't need to do it for the video, just sorry, for the Squeezeback, I just want for the video alone. So position and scale, that's where it's going to start, and then another one there. This one I'm going to edit at the end. This is I want it to look at the end, so then I just click on that so that it takes me to the one that I want to edit. I'm going to work on the size and then position so that I can move it to where it's supposed to be. Some adjustments here and there so that it fits perfectly as a glove. Let me just scale it up a bit. Nope. Yeah, I think that works. So I'm going to copy that and paste it there. That's simple. So this is, I'll just move it. Remember, when you move them close to each other, it means that they're going to take a lot of time as they transition. So I'm going to press play so that we see it's going to look like. Beautiful. So I'm also going to click there so that we see it's going to terminate. So in this other one, let me just mute those ones and then have it again, the Squeezeback and the video. Remember now for this other one, the video, the Squeezeback, that is what is on top of the video, and this one has more work to do to it because you also have to have keyframes on both the Squeezeback and the video itself. But that is why we are here today for this masterclass. So position and scale, yeah, let me just put it there. For me, what I do is that where I want it to start, where I want the effects to start, and also where I want it to terminate from. That is my personal standard and it has worked for me through the years. So this is where I want it to start from. When it's at the bottom, right here, I just want the video to be zoomed out so that I can read the low figures on that with the forecast. Remember, the idea is to have no important information obscured, but for this one you're going to make some exemptions. So for this part, I'm going to copy. Let me just do one, copy and paste, and this part as well, copy. Wonderful. So that's how it's going now to start. Let us see it's going to terminate. And that's how it terminates. And there's also a mobile phone version. So I'm going to import it. And this Squeezeback is going to come. Okay. Let me just take the video up. That one actually, so I'm going to stretch it. This is the CapCut desktop version. To look for the keyframes. The keyframes are on your top right. The keyframes are on your top right. Yeah, so got it. So this is where the keyframes are. So I move with the keyframes. Let me just do the scale. It works the way I want it to. I think that one will work. So as you can see, it works at the beginning. I apologize. My color choice is for some people it might not be ideal, since turquoise and white, but let us work together on this one. So right now, let me just type in the figures. And then I can just drag and drop, so that this is how it's going to terminate the Squeezeback. And let me play from the beginning. So this is how the Squeezeback comes in. And this is how the Squeezeback goes out. So that is the first Squeezeback on CapCut. Now for the second Squeezeback, it's a bit interesting. As I told you, the Squeezeback comes on top. I don't know if we call it a Squeezeback or an overlay, but whichever, you're going to work with it. By the way, if not much of the information is obscure, but if not much information is obscured, you can work with it as it is. So we start with the keyframes. we take it down, and then a keyframe for the video. Oh, sorry, not that one. Yes, that one. So I scale down and take it up a bit. Yeah, that's good. So I'm going to come there. When I click on that keyframe, those numbers go on the keyframe. So I'm going to, because those are the numbers on there, then now I'm coming to edit so that Squeezeback goes down. And for the video, I'm just going to reset everything. I'm going to reset that too. Let's see how it plays. That's how the Squeezeback comes in, and this is how the Squeezeback goes out. That has been CapCut. Mix. So on that image for the Squeezeback, I'm going to come to settings, then I come to layers, then now on one layer I select the video, then I come to edit. I play with the scale, which in this case is called zoom. Then I pan my image. Remember, you can also do drag and drop, but my teacher told me I need to be serious and serious people don't drag and drop, so that's why I don't. You won't find me most of the times doing drag and drop. So just some adjustments until you feel you're comfortable with where it's going to be, and that is simple for vMix. So when I play the video and then I merge the Squeezeback, it animates itself. What we're going to do, we're going to load it twice. I will tell you why we are loading the Squeezeback twice. The first one will act as the image holder, and the second one that will act as the Squeezeback. So I'm going to make sure I place our video where I want it to be. Then I come to the layers and then get the Squeezeback again, so that now it comes at the front. If you don't do this, it's going to be difficult when you're doing your adjustments. Once that is done, you come to the video plate, and then I'll use the merge tool. As you can see, it's going to animate itself. That's how we do the second Squeezeback on vMix. For the last part, we're going to do OBS. OBS is a bit different from vMix, so I'm going to import the materials to OBS. Now I'm going to arrange. In OBS, you work on different cameras or different workspaces. Now for the first one, I'm just going to have the video alone. That is the first scene. I'm just going to have the video alone. For the second scene, that's I'm going now to do the video on the Squeezeback. As you can see, one is with the video, the other is with the Squeezeback. Now on OBS, it doesn't have that animation effect, it's just a cut. So that's how we do it on OBS for the first Squeezeback. And that is all that we had for you for this masterclass. Thank you for being part of this masterclass from the beginning to the end. The next upcoming masterclass is going to be a vMix masterclass. Remember, we had the first vMix, it was a private one, but the second one is going to be public. Thank you for your support. Continue watching, continue sharing, continue subscribing. Remember, you can stand with this channel financially on our paybill number 714888. The account number is 123640. I repeat, the paybill number is 714888 and the account number is 123640. I'll see you in the next masterclass.